What's up YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full Pokemon glitches team. Now these are specifically the glitches from Gen 1. Now obviously there's a lot more than 6 Pokemon, and there's a lot of Pokemon that could represent each glitch too. So I took some from this list suggested and some ones that I've actually come across too that I thought make a little bit more sense. So I come up with a good team, and maybe we could do this again if you guys enjoyed this kind of thing. I sort of gave a little compilation at the start there to show you what they look like, and I'm going to do a little brief explanation of them as well. Something a little bit of trivia and something a little bit interesting. So if you do want to battle me, as usual people, if you've got a theme team, you want to battle me with any cool team, come and visit my chat. I take battles there every day at a random time. Also, there's lots of people there to battle and just have a general chat with, so anyone is welcome. Right, so we have a battle on my chat against Code. We've got a Cincino lead here, which is going to use Covet on my Onyx, breaking the Sturdy. Now, I've got Stealth Rock in this set, which is actually kind of helpful on the rest of my team, not so much on the Onyx. Onyx is a fairly slow Pokemon, so it usually does one thing and then dies afterwards. Anyway, speaking of that, I'm going to get hit by the Bullet Seed. I'm like, this is over. I'm going to get hit 5 times by the Bullet Seed. However, it only hits me twice. I'm like, damn, they're running Technician instead of Skill Link. That's so savage to get the extra damage out of Bullet Seed. However, I do have Explosion on this set with the normal gem, and that's going to be way too much for that to handle, taking it out. Now, they actually were using their own theme team here, so if you want to see if you can guess it, go right ahead. But definitely props to using Technician over Skill Link. I like that. That's my way of thinking. Right, so we have the Scyther coming in. Well, I got this part right. So that's going to get hit by the Stealth Rocks, obviously doing a lot of damage to it, being 4 times weak. Now, I've got this Nidoking. Obviously, the the Onyx was for the skipping Brock glitch, which you saw at the start. Now, this glitch is the Nidoking getting the level 100 Nidoking, or the Nidoking at the start of the game. This also had Dragon Tail. That Scyther obviously tried to heal off the damage, but to no avail because I got rid of it. On the Nidoking set, we've got max health and max defense. I've got Toxic, Dragon Tail, Protect, and Super Fang. Now, I really couldn't do a hell of a lot to this Mr. Mime. The only thing I can do is really throw a Toxic on it and go for the Super Fang. Obviously, it's a guys, I think this could be a full Technician team. Anyway, so it's going to go for the Technician Confusion, and it's going to hit me very, very hard there. I've got a max, I've got a max in health, which helped me survive that a little bit. And that was about it. I can't really do too much. I just went for a Protect here to get some extra damage on the Toxic. And maybe if it did hit me with a minimum damage Confusion, I might be able to live. However, on the Protect, it sets up a barrier. Damn. So it's going to be bulky in defense. And Mr. Mime is fairly bulky in special defense too. So that Toxic is starting to rack up very nicely. Now, the Onyx before had max attack and max health too, if you were wondering. Right, so going for a Protect this turn, I get a double Protect off, but they go for the rest. I'm like, no! I thought I out-trolled them, but I got trolled myself. So the Mr. Mime is going to go to sleep, which kind of looks creepy, and it's going to get all of its health back, eating its Chesto Berry and waking up. Man, I thought I got the double Protect Salt there, but I got trolled. So Nidoking is, I was like, it may just lose this one super, super badly, but it's not going to, and Nidoking is down. So damn, nice play there with the Mr. Mime. I like Mr. Mime, it's a very interesting Pokemon. So swapping a Mew here, obviously for the Mew glitch. I've done this Mew glitch a lot of times. It was so funny, when everyone first found out about it. They're like, wow, we can finally get Mew on our, Gen 1 game. So, doing the trick, which is going to get Trick, the Mr. Mime, a Choice Band. This is a physical Mew. Probably definitely the best Pokemon on my team for sure. I had Zen Headbutt, Drain Punch, Dragon Tail running with that Onyx strategy, Stealth Rock strategy, and also had Trick as the last move, max speed and max attack with Adamant Nature. So the Mr. Mime obviously is going to have to swap out there because I'm running Marowak. Now, unfortunately, I didn't run Lightning Rod on this. That would have been perfect to get a special attack boost because I'm running a special Marowak. I went for the Fire Blast because there's a couple of Pokemon that could come into that, like the Scyther, expecting a ground type move, and that's going to get nuked. Man, that Scyther, that didn't stand a ghost of a chance. So now we have the Roselia coming. I was like, oh, Roselia. Choice Specs Fire Blast is going to hit this really, really hard, even though it's coming from a Marowak, right? So it's going to go for the Razor Leaf, going for a scummy crit. I live on 69 health. I do have Battle Armor, though, because I'm not going to get critted. Man, they take that Fire Blast too well. I know that's got Assault Vest. God damn. So I've got to swap out the big boy here. I also had Focus Miss Blizzard on that as well, and Earth Power for stab. So swapping in the Ditto. Now for the Ditto one, you could Ditto obviously could copy the IVs with Transform with the Transform glitch. I actually did that on a video on that one. So there was so many glitches that I could do and add into this video. So I just try to take some of the ones that I did as well to make it, for me to be a little bit more familiar with them. So we have a physical Roserade here. I swapped in my Ditto to sponge any grass type attack. I'm going to go for the pin missile. It misses. That's why they call it pin missile. Anyway, so going for another pin missile again. Thank goodness it hits this time. Unfortunately for me, I actually didn't get enough hits out of it. I only kept getting 2. And also, I kept losing the speed type to this damn opposing Roserade. So it's going to hit me with Pin Missile again. Hits me 2 times. So I'm like, we're all good to go, ladies. Let's take this out. Unfortunately, it's going to outspeed me again with a Pin Missile. And it lands. And guess what, people? I was like, damn, I'm going to live on 2 health. But it hits me with the 3rd one and takes out my Ditto. Oh, man. So salty about that. So my Ditto is down. So I've got 3 Pokemon left. Now, obviously, I thought Kangaskhan would make the best choice for Mazingo. I mean, there's quite a few choices you could have made. So this Kangaskhan is really good. I've used it a lot of times. It's my bulky special defense Kangaskhan. Max health, max special defense. I'm working with this team nicely too. I've got Circle Throw, Rest Sleep Talker. Now, it's got Early Bird too, so it's only going to be asleep for 1 turn. You probably don't even have to run Sleep Talker if you don't want to, and you can free it up for another move. I also gave it Dizzy Punch for a little bit of stab there and to try and get some confused hacks. I had Leftovers as the item. Right, so Circle Throwing the Hitmontop, because I did have a small feeling that it would try and set up on me, expecting a swap on the Kangaskhan. Anyway, so Giovanni comes in, which is the Fur Cat. Now, they're going to go for the Z move. I'm guessing, I was thinking this is coming off like Dark Pulse or anything like that. I wasn't sure at the time. As I said, I'm very bulky in special defense, so I know if this is coming off a special move, I'll most definitely will be able to take it and hit hard back with Circle Throw. Even with no attack evers at all, it's going to do some solid damage. Obviously, it's more of a sweeping set. Right, so Kangaskhan is the first kangaroo that actually flies and takes about a quarter of my health off. Going for the Circle Throw, and that does some solid damage, and that's going to obviously throw the opponent out of the battle. So the idea was a lot of phasing in here to help with the Stealth Rock. So we have Roland coming back in. I know this packs some sort of fighting type move. I've got a little bit of leftover recovery. So with Max Self, I'm fairly bulky, and its defense actually isn't all too bad. So I stayed in, and now it's going to go. Roland's going to go for the rolling kick. I should have known. Oh, and I just lived that one on 20 health, going for the Circle Throw again on the Hitmontop. Circle Throwing that out of the battle. So now we have the Mr. Mime coming in. Now this was a problem. Right? Because Marowak couldn't really come into it. It wasn't like the bulkiest, special defensive Pokemon in the world. Mew really couldn't touch it at all, and Kangaskhan was on, it was on its last legs. So it's going to get hit by the Confusion, taking out Kangaskhan. So I've got an option here. I was thinking, I've got to swap in Mew here, and I've got to try and cause a swap. So I've got, as I said earlier, I've got Dragon Tail on my Mew, right? So I was thinking, if they swap here, because they're locked into Confusion, right, I could go for the Dragon Tail, phase them out again. However, they stayed in and went for Confusion. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So I don't have my Choice Band anymore. If you remember earlier, I tricked it off to the Mr. Mime. So the Mr. Mime is now locked into Confusion. So I thought, let's go for the Zen Headbutt. That's the best stab move I can hit this with, and I might be able to get a flinch too. So Mr. Mime is spamming Confusion as fast as it can, hoping to get Confusion on me, but thank goodness that doesn't happen. Actually, Zen Headbutt misses that turn, which really sucks. So Mr. Mime is going to get more damage. So I was thinking, if I lose this matchup between Mr. Mime, right, I'm going to get mimed. I can't do anything with my Marowak at all. There's no way it's going to be able to take it out or even outspeed it. Right, so now it's going to continue going for the Confusion against my Mew. I think I can take like 2 more. I can't take it. I think I can barely take a crit. So going for Zen Headbutt again. I did miss before, which really made me salty. However, I get a crit on this one, so I guess that did make up for the miss earlier on. So Mr. Mime, it goes down, but the salt continues, people. So now we have the Roland coming back in. Now I do have Zen Headbutt. I've got max speed on this thing. Even without the Choice Band, I was quite confident I'll be able to take it out. In case, like, if I missed, that would be it. And Roland is going to go down to the Zen Headbutt. So I still have the Marowak left, and I've still got the Mew. However, there's that big problem of the Alolan Persian. Now, this was probably the most saltiest part of the battle. So the Alolan Persian comes out, obviously, and it's going to use a Dark-type move, which is Snarl. And they miss with Snarl, which is 95% actually. And I'm going to hit it with the Drain Punch, and that's going to take it out. They actually had Water Pulse for my Marowak, and they would have won if they hit. So I really do feel their pain there. I would have been salty too. But apart from that, thank you for the battle. It was really good, and some really cool sets there. I hope you guys enjoy this one. You just gotta brush the soul off people. Right, so the next battle I had was against Roz in my chat. We've got the mighty Lord and Savior Stunfisk to lead off the battle. Man, I love Stunfisk. Such an amazing Pokemon. Starting things off with the Onyx again. I know that was unexpected. So going for the Stealth Rock, obviously I need that on my team. It's a fairly good strategy, just racking up a little bit of damage on some of my Pokemon. The phasing really wasn't like a main part of my team. I thought it just helped for some extra damage. So Stunfisk is going to go for the Earth Power, taking me down to my Sturdy, obviously. Now I do have Earthquake on this set, and I do have Explosion. I just went for the Earthquake against Stunfisk. I didn't think either could one-shot it, so I just went for some damage. That was pretty good damage on the Stunfisk. I was happy with that. Onyx obviously is going to go down to the Earth Power from the Stunfisk, but I got the Stealth Rocks up. I did a bit of damage. That's usually what Onyx does best. If I can get the Stealth Rocks up and explode and take someone out, that's usually the best. However, there is a special Onyx moment in the bloopers, people. You've got to watch it. You've got to stick around. It's just beautiful. So anyway, with the Stunfisk, going to get Shrek by my Earth Power Marowak. I quite like Special Marowak. It's got some really interesting moves, special moves on it that you probably wouldn't expect coming from. Its special attack is absolute garbage, though. That's purely why I use it. So now we have Delmise coming out, another one of my favorite Gen 7 Pokemon. I am not going to be liking any grass moves from this thing. Oh crap, I nearly knocked over my water bottle. Grass moves from this thing. And it's going to go for the Anchor Shot, trapping in my bulky defensive Nidoking. So Nidoking actually gets a poison point, which is funny because I actually was going to go for the poison. So that sort of saved me the time to do that. I've got a little bit of Black Slide's recovery too. Now this Nidoking set, right, I was thinking I could just Dragon Tail this thing outright, and I can't go for Super Fang, so Dragon Tail is my next option. I was thinking of going for Protect 2 to get some extra damage up. So Low Fat comes in, however, it's going to take half its health off of the Stealth Rock. I went for Protect, obviously, expecting them to go for another move. Getting another little round of Black Sludge off, so it wasn't a too bad result there. Now the Butterfree goes for a Savage Quiver Dance. Man, I was thinking, if this Dragon Tail misses, I'm going to be so salty. The Dragon Tail hits, thank goodness, and Butterfree is going to be swapped out of the battle, keeping a low-fat status. So now we have the Delmise coming in. It's already poisoned from the poison point earlier on. Getting a little bit of extra damage from the Stealth Rock 2 was always nice, but I feel sorry for that Butterfree. Like, Pokemon are so weak to Stealth Rock. They're very difficult to use, especially when obviously Stealth Rock is on the field and you can't get rid of it. So I'm going to get hit by the Giga Drain, giving Delmise some health recovery. I just went for Dragon Tail again. That's really all I could do to this thing. It does pretty minimal damage, but it swaps the Delmise out and usually just generally pays off the opponent. Oh, poor Butterfree. Poor Butterfree, hello darkness. It's going to go down to the Stealth Rocks. It's like that Scyther from the battle before. Like, all it did was use Roost, and all the Butterfree did in this battle was use Quiver Dance. It was, quivering. So now we have the Omastar coming in, Lord Helix. Any move is going to be able to take me out. I was very scared of this thing, actually, because it's quite strong against my team. It's going to go for the Ice Beam against my Nidoking and hit me in the ball. I think that was the balls. Anyway, that took my Nidoking in one shot. Wouldn't matter if I had max health or not. I was definitely going down to that one. Right. So I knew I could swap in my Mew here. I was thinking, if this thing tries to use Shell Smash, or even if it doesn't, if it goes for like a Water type move or a Rock type move, I should try and lock it into Choice Band, because that'd be really good. I was really hoping it would go for the Shell Smash, but I get a Focus Sash. However, the Omastar goes for the Ancient Power there, which is stab. Does a fair amount of damage to my Mew. So now I can go for the Ancient Power, the Dragon Tail against this and phase it out of the battle, which was good because it actually got an Ancient Power boost. I was like, oh man, I'm so lucky. Like, I went for that Dragon Tail. I almost went for the Drain Punch set, and it would be able to lift that easy because it got that. It's got Natural Bulk, and it got the the boost from Ancient Power. So I'm so grateful that I used Dragon Tail. I was like, easily would have got swept by this thing. So Lord Helix sweeps herself out of the battle, and in comes the Typhlosion. This team is actually a couple of Pokemon quite weak to Stealth Rock. So the Typhlosion is going to come in, take some damage from Stealth Rock, and it's going to go for the Flamethrower on my Mew. I was hoping I could barely hold on, just purely like, that 100 base in every stat, but it wasn't enough. I guess I was running a sweeping set, so it wasn't as bulky. Right, now swapping in Marowak. So obviously for Marowak, if I didn't explain this one already, you could use a Pokédoll against Marowak, and that would allow you to skip the whole Marowak battle. Right, so Lord Helix is going to come into this one. I went for the Focus Miss. Thank goodness it doesn't miss. And old Lordy Helix, is going to get sent back to the Fossil Age. Now, there's 3 Pokemon left on, I think, both sides of the field, so a very even battle at the moment. So I knew Delmise would come in straight afterwards, and now there was not much I could really do. I'm locked into Focus Miss. I've got to swap out, like, I've got to save my Marowak for a little bit later on. There was a Pokemon I wanted to use against it. So swapping in the Ditto. Now, I started to try and do some trolling against this because I thought, I love Ditto. I didn't obviously choose Scarf as the normal item on it. I was running normal LMZ. So, swapping into the Delmise, transforming into Delmise, taking the Giga Drain. Now, this was a rather interesting set the Delmise had. It was like a wrap, I think it was a wrap anchor shot. I'm trying to remember what the set was. It was beautiful. So, it had Shadow Claw. So, I looked at it, I was like, well, they're probably going to use Shadow Claw. Let's go into, Kangaskhan to get some extra toxic damage. And, that worked for another turn, racking up that poison point damage earlier on. Now, I thought, well, I could go for a wrap. So, I could go back into Ditto, right? Transform to Delmise, and then be immune to that. So, I tried that and went back into the Ditto. I thought at worst, right, it's going to hit me with the Giga Drain, and it's not going to do a lot of damage anyway, so I haven't got much to lose. Right, so Delmise is going to use the Giga Drain this turn. I was so hoping it would use Wrap for maximum trolling capacity, but it didn't. That's all good. Now I can go for the... I thought, well, let's go for Shadow Claw this time. Or I could go back into Kangaskhan and be a Mega Troll, or I could just cut my losses and go for Shadow Claw. Now, decided to go for the Shadow Claw this time. Anchor, oh man, that looks so cool when the Delmise hit the Delmise with the Anchor. That was badass. And now going for the Shadow Claw, taking out the opposing Delmise. But man, I love those little mind games. I just love it so much. Now, the last 2 Pokemon we have is the Raichu. Now, I made a really cocky over prediction on this. So there wasn't much I could really do with my Ditto. I thought maybe I could swap it out into one of my other Pokemon like the Marowak, for instance. But I thought, nah, I'm going to keep the Ditto and just sack the Ditto. And I've still got 2 Pokemon left. So I went to Marowak, right? I was like, I know this got Air Balloon, but maybe Typhlosion will come into this. Raichu's maybe not going to hang around. But it stayed in and used knockoff. Actually gets rid of my choice specs. I went for the Earth Power Sickness swap in, and it didn't work, obviously, because there's the air balloon there. But the good thing about that was it actually knocked my item off, so I was able to use, like, my other moves. So now I went for the Fire Blast, and Typhlosion swaps in, and it's going to get a Flash Fire. Oh, I can't believe, man, that was the best prediction 2018 there on the Typhlosion. Oh man, I can't believe they predicted my Fire Blast Marowak. Anyways, so it's going to use extra Scum Sensory. Going for that flinch, I believe. Focus Miss misses. God damn it, it always misses when I really need it. So Typhlosion is going to go for another extra Scum Sensory, and that is going to be enough to take out my Marowak. Man, Marowak got like absolutely trolled to death then. Kind of makes up for me being a troll earlier on, so I'm all good for that. So swapping in my special defensive Kangaskhan. I know that I can take out this Typhlosion and tank it, even if he uses a fire type move. I do have rest on this thing. I go for the Circle Throw on the Typhlosion, so that's going to do some nice damage to it and get it out of the battle. However, that's not going to be enough to take it out when it comes in. So now we have this Raichu from before. I'm not going to write you a love song. So it's got a floating on its air balloon. So all I really need to do is hit this with a Dizzy Punch or a Circle Throw. I was thinking, well, I'd rather like deal with this maybe later on. So I went for the Circle Throw again. It's going to hit me with the Fake Out. It doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage. Leftovers like recovering a little bit of that off. So I know this probably has Volt Tackle, right? So I'm thinking maybe they're going to go for it. Maybe I should go for Rest this turn. However, they're going to knock off my leftovers instead. I just went for the Circle Throw to get rid of the Raichu. Doing some pretty good damage there, and I was a little bit worried I could get paralyzed by static then, but I didn't. I was like, phew, enough trolling for just this second. So Typhlosion is going to come in. It just hangs on by the skin of its teeth, and it's going to go for the Flamethrower this time on my Kangaskhan, doing some pretty solid damage to me. I went for Rest this turn. I had to. I've got the early bird. So I was thinking, even if I get the classic Pimpnite Sleep Talk Rest, I can wake up the next turn and attack right. And I know they'll be able to tank anything this Typhlosion throws at me. I was more worried about that Volt Tackle coming from the Raichu. So anyway, as I thought, the Typhlosion is going to stay and use the Flamethrower. It's about a 4-hit KO after, obviously, even without the leftover recovery, it's still a 4-hit KO. Obviously, it's going to be like a 2 if it's a crit. So I actually get Sleep Talk, Circle Throw, and take out the Typhlosion with a crit. And we all know that one matter. So the last Pokemon is the Raichu. I'm not going to write you a love song. I need to do some more Pokepun. I need to do like some more Pokepun throughout the video. That just reminded me. So now the Raichu is going to come in and use Fake Out, obviously for some extra chip damage. I'm going to wake up and get flinched. So, I went for the Dizzy Punch this time. Now, it's going to come in and go for the Volt Tackle on my Kangaskhan. and I live just due to my pure bog. But man, that was a really fun battle. So many trolling moments, and I had a really good time. Hope you guys enjoyed both these battles. Stick around and watch them bloopers and the bonus battle. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.